Chapter 1. Love for yourself is a guaranteed path to a peaceful state of being. To truly experience our most authentic selves, we must give in to the fullness of love for others and ourselves. Love is a part of our true nature as humans. Deep within our core resides a storehouse of immense, unconditional love. This kind of warm affection is without any condition or price. Learn to show love without waiting for the recipient to be worthy of it. Unfortunately, we attach too many conditions to love for others, and until the conditions get met, they don't deserve it. This behavior is but an extension of just how we treat ourselves. You may not have observed it, but we can only love others to the degree that we love ourselves. In other words, how you treat others says a lot about your relationship with yourself. Take it easy on yourself, and you will make mistakes, but they are so that you can learn to do better next time. Love should be empty of any conditions. We should give and receive it simply because we exist and nothing else. It shouldn't matter if you fail or succeed. When you find true love for yourself, nothing can erase it. Love is often used today as a bargaining chip in relationships, most especially. People offer love because they think you meet some standard or requirement. This act is unhealthy and ultimately damaging. Love yourself, even when things don't go your way. Decide today that you will take every failure or setback as a step in the right direction. Each time we stumble, it is merely a part of our journey that must be appreciated and learned from. Each experience we have must not be taken for granted. They are opportunities to grow and become better versions of ourselves. In the following chapters, we will learn just what we need to do to truly gain control of our minds and create a much better living experience. Ram Dass aids to educate more people about the benefits of living in the present and never missing out on the gift of being alive. Dass is long dead, but the principles he taught are still very much alive and working. Chapter 2. Be mindful of how your mind controls your life and relationships. The mind is such a vast resource, yet we have barely begun understanding or appreciating it. It controls so much that we don't even know which actions, reactions, or thoughts are voluntary. The mind is responsible for registering the pain, joy, and even discomfort we feel daily. Therefore, we need to find a balance between our body and mind, putting both in a harmonious union. When we face the experiences that challenge our resolve, we must learn to gain control of our mind and how it responds to setbacks and successes. It is time we reclaimed full control of our actions and reactions from our minds and put them under submission. We often associate feelings with occurrences, and as such, whatever reminds us of these events triggers these feelings. But this pain is all in your head and is often a blockade to becoming a better version of yourself. It would be best if you let yourself heal from whatever trauma you encounter, not to ruin any relationships you have in the future. Cherish the relationships you have with those you love and love you. They are pathways to becoming a much better you. The relationships we have with people and even with ourselves are a pathway to unearthing our true nature. At our core, we crave intimacy and we have an innate need to connect. This statement doesn't necessarily mean we are incapable of being independent. In fact, the connection is an avenue to establishing true individuality. Chapter 3. Don't wait until death comes knocking to see your worth. Death has such a final theme, putting an end to our existence, relationships, and most significantly, our feelings of anxiety and self-critique. Humans dread death because it doesn't give us any fair warning or time to prepare ourselves for the quick exit. We wait our whole lives getting ready, and death comes to wipe the slate clean. Don't wait until your dying day to count your blessings. The present is enough blessing already. We must think of death as a path to yet another beautiful journey and not the end to this one. Those who are at death's door or on their deathbed usually wish they did more with their lives and took more risks. But they should be grateful that they lived at all. Life is a gift, and although we get tempted to hold firmly to it to avoid death, we'd be happier if we let the natural order of exchange happen. Life from death and death from life. We invest too much attention on the finish line for much of our lives that we don't spend time enjoying the race. We judge our successes, speed, and productivity concerning others and end up falling short almost all the time. We must learn to accept that we are where we should be, and it is only through self-examination and a desire to improve that we can excel. Simply bashing yourself won't birth success. You must take intentional steps towards self-development. The only obligation we have to ourselves is to constantly work on being better, discovering our true selves, unlocking levels of our being we hadn't felt before. Being hard on yourself can be a prompt to succeed, but often we overdo it. And cruelty has never been a healthy atmosphere for growth. It is a good move to try and be your own critic and your own fan, but we must find a balance. If we're too nice, we might miss our flaws and refuse to grow from them. And if we treat or judge ourselves too harshly, we will only focus on the flaws and stunt growth. This place is where love for oneself comes in. It is the most accurate form of an honest appraisal. When one can love oneself, one can fully process the flaws and gifts one possesses and know how to manage them properly. Chapter 4. Learn to calm your mind and be present in the moment. The presence of silence can be a natural avenue to great revelation, especially if it's met with meditation. There are many rituals that involve simply clearing the mind of any thoughts or distractions. The stillness you achieve when you quiet your mind is pristine and peaceful and can be a doorway to unearthing your true purpose. You'll hear more when you listen to silence, because the voice you need to hear is the one in your mind, guiding you down the right path. We cling to words as a means to understand the world around us, our place in it, but they pale in comparison to the wealth of knowledge that waits in their absence. When you quiet your mind and block out any external stimuli, you give your inner voice the room to speak and guide you. The guidance you need isn't for some grand journey into the future. It is, for now, being present in the moment. When we hear bettering ourselves, we imagine a long journey that involves a rigorous ordeal or a series of trials over a long time. In truth, the only part of the journey that matters is the one we are currently experiencing. Every stage of your journey is as important as the destination, so don't take it for granted and miss the chance to learn important lessons. Our attitude in every stage of the journey to becoming better versions of ourselves as we draw closer to the light defines the kind of person we'll be at the end of the trip. We must approach each stage with growth in mind, nurturing gratitude for the chance to embark on the journey to self-improvement. If we lose focus and get complacent or impatient, we can jeopardize the entire effort. I can do nothing for you but work on myself. You can do nothing for me but work on yourself. Ram Dass, Chapter 5. Your emotions can sabotage your efforts. Learn to control them. We are unable to be present in the now because we let our emotions control us. Once we gain complete control of our emotions, we will free our minds of whatever constraints it has to deal with. Mastery of emotion is a valid path to happiness, as it leads to mastery of oneself. Most people are controlled by their feelings and cannot act outside them. This leads to rash actions we'd only end up regretting. Our emotions are powerful allies and deadly enemies. We must take charge of them before they ruin our lives. Life is a chaotic beauty, raging with random emotions for unplanned moments. We must gain control of this storm and bend it to our will. Emotions are like the tide, waves on an ocean. They'll happen, but they'll only calm down in the distance. There is no safety in residing in the middle of a storm, so we cannot let raging emotions overwhelm or trap us. We must learn then to distance ourselves from the negative emotions we encounter and, if possible, choose to see the bright side of the negative feedback we receive. The power and choice lie with us. We possess complete and utter control of our emotions and how they affect us. We must decide to break free of the adverse effects and only indulge in the positive ones. Invest little emotions into your daily setbacks. They're not here to stay. Focus on the lessons instead. We have to accept that we possess this power and do not need to struggle to control our emotions. When we let our potential take center stage, things fall into place without any extra effort. When one becomes so focused on gaining control, chances are there's little possibility of actually doing so. This will in turn lead to frustration, which is a volatile and negative emotion. We must not approach peace with war in mind. Thus, we must learn to calm our emotions and let our desires come to us. If you wish to attain peace, you must address whatever conflict in your heart. Did you know Ram Dass had never felt the presence of God until he took a massive dose of LSD that gave him visions? Chapter 6. The path to self-development is an eternal one. Often when people hear the term self-development, they usually picture a quick-fix help manual, and that once they follow the easy steps, their lives will take a drastic turn for the best. This frame of mind is grossly deceptive and is a significant reason why people create temporary resolutions for personal change or improvement. You can't rush perfection. It is a gradual and meticulous process that must be diligently adhered to. When you start to make an effort to develop yourself, you must follow through and keep at it every day. The journey of self-development involves many facets that you must fully experience to appreciate the destination. The goal and the tasks to achieve aren't mutually exclusive. Since we can all agree that nobody is ideal, it makes perfect sense that we must then commit as much effort as necessary to continue working on ourselves, intentionally and diligently. There is no stop sign or a benchmark for self-development. The goal is to take charge of your own life and make access to your desires a little more concrete. By doing so, you can unlock parts of your mind and body you didn't have full access to before. If you commit wholly to self-development, the benefits that await you are tremendous. For those who will continue to take intentional steps to increase other stores of love and compassion, you must remember that the journey is worth each dedicated attempt. Those that make up the collective effort over time. The only one stopping you from finding true happiness is yourself. Just because you are seeing divine light, experiencing waves of bliss, or conversing with gods and goddesses is no reason to not know your zip code. Ram Dass. Conclusion. Our lives are such that we must cling to physically present objects or concepts because they make sense to us. They're more accurate, and anything else is too complicated for us to grasp. We are material beings, and as such, we live material lives, searching daily for the next promotion or upgrade in our current financial status. We judge ourselves when we fail to acquire these material things, especially if we believe someone or something else is responsible. There is so much self-inflicted pressure to perform beyond our current abilities. This behavior we exhibit is mainly because we refuse to live in the now. But it's best to live in the present because that's where we are right now. To live in the now is to be intentional about critical choices and decisions that have not only a long-term effect, but also a present effect. As important as the future is, there is no better time than now. And if we put off enjoying the moment, we'll never get the chance to exist until we're at death's door. We need love for others and, most importantly, ourselves. Love is the fuel we need to make this journey to self-realization and self-development. It would be advisable if we were a little easier on ourselves. We do not compete with anyone but ourselves. If we fail, it should be an avenue to learn and grow. I think the message is that you don't need to go anywhere else to find what you are seeking. Ram Dass. Try this. Open your mind and heart to the many avenues to be a better person. Show love unconditionally, and never let any external voice or stimulus guide your actions. You are the captain of your ship. Practice unconditional love by doing and giving things without expecting anything in return.